Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this fantasy axe tutorial. Today we're going to be making this cool little axe with the blue gem and stuff in it. Got a lot of comments that you guys wanted me to make this. That was so cool. I never got that kind of feedback before. Really appreciate it. So today we're going to make this exact sword. Axe. So let's make it. Okay. So this axe, we're going to need 20 gauge square wire. We're going to need 3 pieces cut at 18.5 inches. We're going to need 1 piece cut at 10 inches and 2 pieces cut at 9 inches. We're going to go with a pointed back 8mm crystal and a 5mm pointed back crystal for this. We're going to need 28 gauge, colors of your choice, 2 or 1. If you're going to go with 1, you need quite a bit of it. I recommend a bobbin for this project, just so like for the handle you don't run out, because I don't know how you'd keep it on there if you didn't have it in one piece. So you're going to want some long pieces, or a bobbin is great for this project. You're going to need cutters, flat nose pliers, needle nose pliers, and nylon pliers. So let's make this axe. So for the first step, we're going to take the 18.5 inch, one piece of it, and you're going to find center, which is about 9 1/4. And then we're going to divide that because we're going to make a 3/4 inch long weave on it. So let's just start back on the 9 inch just a little bit. You can slide it around later if you want to find direct center on it. So we're going to wrap it 3 times. So I can do this close. Got a lot of wire on this one side here. Okay, so just tying it off here. 3 wraps is good. So you're going to grab these other pieces here. Level them up on one side, and you're gonna stack it. This one piece that you just wrapped on top. Put my wire on the other side. So you're gonna make these 2 beneath flat and stack it on top of it. So they're not gonna be in a row. They're gonna be it's gonna be like a little pyramid type. This is gonna be for the handle. So once you get them on top of each other, we're going to go around this. It's going to be 3/4 of an inch. See if I can get a better picture of it. I think I got it bent. Okay, so I just have it sitting on top of the other 2. So 2 underneath, 1 on top. And we're going to wrap this till it's 3/4 of an inch long a pattern. I actually counted this. If you're using 28 gauge, it's exactly 55 wraps. So I'm going to go off camera here just to save some time, because this is going to be a long project. And we're going to wrap this 55 times, or until you got 3/4 of an inch length. And I'll be right back. I'm just checking back in to make sure. Don't let it twist when you're wrapping it. Just wanted to mention that. Try to go around it. Try not to rotate it in your hand, because it will spin. And you want to keep the small part on top. Alright, meet you back here after 55 wraps. Okay, so I have 55 wraps on there, and you can see it's 3/4 of an inch. Much a pattern there. Move that out of the way. So what we're going to do now is you'll notice there's like a little, from wrapping it on top, there's like a little point, like a ridge. It's kind of like a little triangle going on. What you're going to do is you're going to bend that, hold that on top. You like bend it around till you got a nice little loop going. And if you have we're going to make the bail with this. So I'm just going to use like the end of this paintbrush I want to make it as small as possible, but big enough that your chain of choice, or the cord that you're going to use, is going to go through it. That's where we want it. So just a small loop. On this side. Okay, when you got it close, grab your nylon pliers, and we are just going to bring that up real close together as you can get it. Just keep a nice small loop there. And then when you smash it all together like that, that's what it should look like. So we can take off this little tie, just the tie, don't take off the other end, don't take this off. And straighten out your wires a bit here. And the part where you tied it, where you started the tie, that's going to be the back. So holding it straight this way. Try to straighten out your wires a little bit. Kind of mangle them around there. So right there. So when you're holding it like this, you're going to see the two top wires that are closest to the top. I should say. So just we're going to move those up a little bit. Just kind of I could straighten them out a little bit. And then you'll have 4 on the bottom. And when you flatten them out with your hands, they'll fall where there's 2 on either side. And just kind of wherever they want to be, however they fall. So it's kind of like this. You got 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top, and you still haven't tied this together. It's still open, and then the wire's off to the side here. And now we're going to grab our gem, and you're just going to set it in the bottom 2. You see, it should just fall right in there. But we want it as close to the top as we can get it. So you can move these 2 up and over a little bit, so it kind of wants to fall down into there close to the top. So I'm going to keep it close like that. Doesn't want to just fall right in there. So what we're going to do now is you're going to put it against your finger so you have leverage, and you're going to put your thumb on that circle of the gem, on the top of the gem, because we're going to hold it right here. And again, if you want to move these out just a little bit so that gem stays close down to this, as close as you can get it, you know. So that's a nice spot right there. So hold it against your finger for leverage. You can hold it down. And then keep your finger on top of that gem, and then just bring these together, bring the bottom ones together. Still don't let go of that gem yet, and then just pinch these together. Make sure that there is some wire going over the top of each one. Could explain that a little better, I guess. We do want a little to go over the top a little. And then either side of the point down there. So it's getting something like that. And then, you know, you can try to move it down close. That's actually pretty good right there. So I'm just shaping this. You can see the back is, you got the 2 points on either side, so it holds it in there pretty good. And straighten that out. So that's what it looks like so far. So with this wire, straighten it up here. I'm going to go around the back, and you don't want to overlap your wires, so push that up out of the way. And then you're just going to wrap around each one. Don't let them overlap. That way it should lock it in pretty good, keep it from sliding down. Keep them close together. So we're going to go till we reach the top of the gem. Nice and snug so they don't want to slip off. Just use your finger to hold it if you gotta let go for a second. And then you'll notice as you're pulling it snug, it wants to slide right down to the next one. So it wants to stay right there. You notice if you go with a bigger gem, it's harder for it to stay there because it's more of an angle. You see now how you can't see the daylight behind that gem? That's what we want. So then you just put your finger there to hold it, pull out some slack. Pull out about 8 inches because we're going to use the slack to wrap underneath it so the gem doesn't fall out. Should use the right cutters. So about 7 or 8 inches there. And then still holding it with your finger. We're going to come around to the back. And we're just going to slip this wire and tie it to the back here. So right through there. And when you go to pull this, don't pull up on these because it's going to want to pull that whole weave. Just pull straight out and snug it up. Just, see how it's not too tight right there. You can move it up with your finger, but you don't want to push this whole weave up. Depending on how tight it is or not, you don't want to risk bunching it up. So if you can get around there 2 or 3 times, that'd be great. So just tie that in the back there. Try not to overlap. It's kind of hard because it is a small spot to get into. And then with this extra little tail, just wrap it down here just to keep the wires, keep the gem from falling out. So that's what it looks like so far. And then see that little point causes a nice little narrow profile on it, which is nice. Okay, so then this part when we're going to do the handle, you don't want them laying flat pointy this way because you want your handle to be fat. So you want to kind of smash them out so you got a nice show on at least 3 or 4 showing. Right? And then we're going to come down, and this is when you're going to use your colored wire. We're going to come down from the exact bottom of the gem 1.5 inches. So right at the bottom of the gem, right here. Let's see, we don't want it too long. And then on the back side, right by there, we can slide it around too if you don't get exactly the right spot at first. You want to grab one of these wires from the back. I totally lost my spot, but that's okay. Just grab one in the middle here. And then take your colored wire. And we measure it again in a second. And just wrap this one 3 times. Nice and snug. And then slide it up to where you think is about 1.5 inches. And we'll get the measure it again here. So right from the bottom. Right there. 1.5 inches at the bottom. So smash these out again. And this is where we're going to add the color to the handle. So nice and flat there. You're going to have to hold it again too. You don't want to spin it in your hand because it'll make it narrow from the front. I've tried it. So we're going to wrap this all the way to the top and keep it as snug as you can so it's solid color, just solid pretty blue color, whatever color you're going with. And I'll meet you back right up here to save some time on this video. Okay, once you get closer up here, you can remove this tie. And then you want to double check your measurement that you haven't slid down from the gem so that you're still at 1.5 inches. And then to make sure that you don't slide down when you do this last part because you want it to stay tight, you can take the wire that you tied off and just kind of put it out there angle so it doesn't want to slide down anymore, because you're going to want to keep this a nice tight wrap so it stays solid like this up here. So I'm just going to remove this. And then continue to wrap till we get to the gem. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to wrap up to just the bottom of the gem till there's no daylight showing underneath it. And we're going to do the same thing. We'll tie it off in the back. Almost there. This uses quite a bit of colored wire, so you don't want to. You'd have to do this in one piece, because if you had to re-tie it on, you'd have this gap in your color. It wouldn't work as good. So we're getting closer. I'm going to do one more, and then rotate to the back. I like that one worse. And then hold it with your finger, so you don't lose the nice snugness. And then just pick the best spot to tie off here in the back. There's a nice little gap. You can see it through the gem there. Just slide it through. The thumbnail's a nice guide so you don't overlap. And then straight out, don't pull down. And go through it again. And once more. Nice and snug. This will be all hidden in the back too, but it's nice to have it tied off there. Alright. So we got this far. And you can remove this little tie too. Whack the camera with the wire. Okay. So now with the gem in front of you, we're going to do the same thing. You're going to find the two wires that look like they're floating on top here. Kind of hard to see with this camera. Okay, so I got the two. I'm just going to slightly lift them up again and pull them apart. So we're going to do the same thing for the gem, and you want to remember to keep your gem here in front level, because you want the gem down here to face the same way. So we're just going to kind of spread these out a little bit. Pick the two that are just on top. Oops. And I'm going to go with a 5mm, but I've done one with another 8, and it looked pretty good too with the larger gem down here as well. So you could use a larger one if you wanted to. Move these up so it slides down in there. Now this one's a little bit different how we're gonna get it to stay there, because this is gonna be the bottom of the handle design. So we're gonna want to hold the gems the same with your fingers, pressing the point and the face again. But you're going to have to try to get a look at it. I'll see if I can get under this camera. But you're going to move. We're going to take this one and go around the top of the gem to hold it in all the way around. So you're going to hold it. And if you can see it, I'm moving it over the top. But don't lift your finger yet. Don't even trust it to, because it might fall out. But so you're going to go over the top of the gem. You made like a little circle. And then you're going to grab this next one and go right along. Push this back out of the way. You're going to go right along. I'm going to make like a little circle around it. So this one can either be just right on the side of the gem, and then this one right here is going to go around the bottom of the gem, above the point but under the color of the gem. Oops, I am so sorry about that. I know that's loud. Okay, so let's see what it looks like from the front. So now we're just gonna pull these along the side of the gem a little bit, kind of face it. And I really did want this a lot closer than that. I really want the gem closer to the handle as possible, but this will work. So holding your thumb over the top of the gem again, you're just going to continue that circle over. You can feel it under your thumb making a circle around it, like that. And then this one you're going to grab, it's going to just kind of either be right beside it or just slightly under it. So you got like a double wrap there. This one's going to go kind of under where the point is, and then parallel. Make sure you got enough coverage around that gem. See, like this is a little too far out, but I think I'll probably take my nylon pliers and push that in just a little bit, but it looks like it's got a good grip on it. So when you flip it over here and you see the back, this one I'm just going to take onto the other side of the point just a little bit there. And I'm going to hold my finger down so I can feel the point. And you got to go along with the other wires. They're all going to go in the same direction. Just makes it interesting to try to grab this. And then too, this one's going to fall alongside the other ones. And then with these ones, you just hold them back with do this closest one first. Hold it against the gem because you do want it to hold its spot there. And then too, that one's just going to fall along. And you'll just push that one in. And this one too, you want this one to hold the gem in. It's got a job too to do. I'll keep that in there. So I just push that one in like that. And it's running along parallel. So it's going to trap it in there pretty good. So from the front, you got this little sweeping motion. And then you want to double check. So it could be crooked from your front gem. So just give it a little twist. Make sure that they're parallel right there. And then pull these around in order to the front. So they're all running out about a 45 out. So we're looking at something like this. And you can kind of push these in. Oops. Be very careful with that gem. Keep it in there real good. Okay, so they're going to be running up at a 45 here, and then to like give you a little twist so they are flat, so your gem and your face are showing the same way. Okay, so you're right here. So this is when you want to double check your gem. You know, you can always pull the circle just a little tighter, you know, if you want to get a better grip on it. Just snug it up in there really good. And once you get, you know, just keep your wires at a 45 up here. So next we're going to grab our colors. Make sure that these are all side by side. Oops, try to keep them straight. And whatever stitching you want to do up this side of this, you're going to use that color. You're going to come up to the fourth wire up. So let's start with this one right here. What we're going to do is wrap that one like 25 times. So just around this 25 times. I'll come back after I got that. Okay, so I got this one wrapped 25 times. And it could be more or less depending on what you got. Oh, it's pretty stuck on it. Okay, so slide it down to the bottom here. And slide it down till it disappears around. What we want it to stop at is we want it to stop right parallel with the border of your handle here. Why does it feel loose? Okay, you can remove this tag. Maybe. Oh, so you want to start parallel. Like I said, wherever you start from here, this is where the stitch is going to stay. Where it's going to go up the side here. So now everything's running at a 45, kind of straight up. You don't want it to go out too far sideways, because you'd end up using a lot of wraps. And we want to show the color of the handle off through the wraps. So I want them spaced out pretty nice. So with this one, we're going to go behind this next one up. Let's open those two. So we're going to just go behind one. Oops. About that. Then we're going to wrap so I like to put like a little memory bend in it first, and then we're just going to go around this one through those two together, but don't pull them tight. Try to keep a gap in between them a little bit. That's why I like to put a memory bend in there, so I don't pull them too close together. And we're going to wrap those 3 times. So if you do have to pull them tight, make sure you keep like a thumbnail or something between there so you don't snug them up too tight together. You want to leave just a nice little gap. So then put another memory bend in it and then go around it again so they lay nice. And then make sure you're down here on the side of your handle. And then one more. And then we're going to wrap this one bar 3 times. So we're just going to move up here. So 1, 2, 3. It should be still in line with the side handle. We're going to go behind this next one up. Oops, not behind the whole thing. Make sure everything's laying flat. And then we're going to wrap these 2 top ones. So put a little memory bend in it. Push it down. A little bend. Okay, there's one. Go for 2 and do that one 3 times as well. Not too snug. There's a little memory bend there so you don't pull it too tight. Make sure your wires are nice and close together, but laying flat. You don't want them to stick out, right? So you did that. Wrap 2 of them together. Now we're going to wrap the single one 3 times. Okay, and here's the cool part. So what you do is on this bottom one here, put your finger right here. You're just going to pull it along the back. And you don't have to spin it, twist it or nothing, just let it come right up to where right where those other ones are. And it'll just fall along line with it. You want to be behind that wire. So your stitches coming up the side here. Now if the stitches start coming or start falling back behind here, just add a couple extras of the single wraps to get back up to the front here. So you're going to put a little memory bend in it, and it's okay if they're gapped out far like that, because you get to see the color of the handle through it. So just put a nice little memory bend in there and then go and wrap this one 3 times. Make sure it's not thick enough. Nice little pre-bend. That's 2. And then after 3, you're going to wrap the single one 3 times. Alright, so they're all still facing at a 45. Make sure your stitches are down the side here. Looks good. So then, looking in the front, you just grab this one, pull it to the back, and it just tends to want to just fall right along. Don't have to twist it, just roll it around to the front. Keep them all close together, slide them down. Still little details. Alright, so then you're going to put another nice little memory bend in there. Go around the 2. So they're out to 45 there. Put the bend right there again. And then 3 times. So this is like if you were falling way back behind here, you would just wrap this till you came up to this side here again, if you fell far behind. But it should stay there. About 3 and 3 seems to match it right up the side. And then pull this one around. And do the same thing. I'll do a couple without you there, because I think, you could just, it's just the same thing over and over again, but I'll meet you back up here. You don't want to go above the gem. We're just going to keep moving up till I get up here, and I'll be back. Okay, so when you get closer to the top, when you wrap it and then the wrap reaches the edge of the gem, and that's pretty much where we're going to change the design. So you're going to go behind that one. And wrap this one 3 times. A little memory bend in there. It's always nice because it seems to lay down flatter. We're going to wrap that top one 3 times. And when you bring this last one around, raise in front. We're just going to leave it there while we tie it. So we're going to go behind this one. We're going to do this one 4 times just to make a nice little, make it nice and snug. 1. That's 3. 4. Once you have 4 on there, you're going to wrap it 3 times in that single one. And then you're going to pull this one around to the back, just kind of swoop it around, kind of like you did the other side. gonna go around up there, out of the way, like that. And then you're gonna grab this bottom one and follow around. He's gonna come up to this other one and we're just gonna grab it with this wire. We're just gonna wrap it 3 times. So, we're gonna do 4. And we're just gonna curve it around with this other one here. And then we'll go around the back like that. And this bottom one, you can bring it around too. Bring it up close to this other one. We're going to grab that one 3 times, 3 or 4 times. Push it up there. 1. That's 3. Just do 4. Doesn't matter, there's only one wire is holding it. So you're going to hold that one and just bend it around. Like that. And this one's going to go down out of the way. Well, actually, let's see if we can get, like, put this one up just a little bit, and then this one, just go underneath it. So you got 2 in the back like this. Sound like that? Move these up out of the way a little bit. So there's 2, and then these ones are going to come around right underneath it. And this one too is going to come right through here. So it's kind of like an X in the back. So from the front, it looks like the start of the handles up here. I should say the blade, I guess. So just give them a nice little snug. So everything's laying good. Make sure your gem is straight in the front. Give any extra little tweaks. And you can give this a little press if you want. Just snug it up, kind of widen it up a little bit, make it fatter. And, you know, if you like even these, you can just take your nylon pliers and press them so they're nice and flat. So I have a nice stitching up the side. Alright, so now we're going to do the handles. Or the blade, I guess I should say. So you want your wire down in front. I'm going to do this side first. So you're going to want to just create like a little soft circle. Nothing too big. What I noticed with this one is you want it pointed about the center of your handle. So this is usually just a little bit smaller side. So when you come out and around, about in the center, so it's pointing to the center of your blade. So like you're looking at just like this. I think this is the one I was showing earlier. See how it's pointed up higher. But we're just going to make this blue part here. So it's going to be kind of small. So you can change that a little bit too, because that looks good. And then this one, you want to be coming out about right between the handle and the gem. It's about a good spot to be. And then depending on your axe handle, how big you want that, you know, this side's going to be just a little bit bigger. I'm not going to face these down because they'll be in the way if I do. So I'll just work on this side. So I guess that's a good start for the like that. back here, I like to close this in as much as possible so you don't see anything but blue weave. So I like to start in the center and turn this upside down. So we'll be working on this side. Okay, so we're back here, but just remember, we almost skipped a step. So what we need to do is take that one piece of 10-inch long, and we're going to put a little crease right in the center of it, because we're going to need the extra wire for the blade. So we're just putting like a little weave in it, a little bend in it. Nothing too drastic. We just want it to match back here, because we're going to sew it into this handle back here. So it's going to fit in there like that. Let's see if we need to reach. So, for some reason it's just easier to work on upside down. So I'm going to put it like this. Put this little piece in here. And just hold it from this side. Like that. And I think, let's see, where is this? So we're going to pretend that these two wires here are just one piece. We are not going to separate these. These two are going to stay locked together for this pattern. So we're going to start in the center. Let's see. So let's go start under these two bars. And since we're back here, we're trying to make a solid background. Once we get out here a little bit, we're going to fall into the pattern, but I'm going to try to close this in tight. So we're just doing like a figure eights around them, nice and snug. If you're on the top side, you're going to go underneath this one. And just bring it in close. Don't pull it too tight because you want to keep your blade distance. But we're just trying to make a wall of color back here. Just for the center, just for looks. So we're just figure eighting it, nice and snug, slide it down. And this is going to come into play here in a second, but I'm just holding it there so I can mark to, because once I get to that point, I'm going to grab it, but I'm not going to grab it till I fill in this little spot here. So I'm just trying to fill this in. You could skip this part, but I just think it just looks better when it's got a lot of color back there. If I can set that down. And let me go until I hit center. I think I already skipped it. Okay, so that looks good enough for me. So I'm going to set this here. And again, that too will probably be covered up by the wrap at the end. Okay, so hold that down in the center there. Let's see. Alright. So I'm starting behind it underneath. It seems like that's the way I want to weave it. So go around all three of these. Slide it down. Make sure that they're flat. It's not going to cooperate at first, but it will. So we're just going to go parallel with those. There's going to be a little bit of gap because we are going to go between these two. So we're going to go around it 3 times. And then up through at that top bar. And then see if you want to grab flat noses. We want to keep them, these ones flat and in line. So you just slide it down to the center there. And then since you're up over here, you're going to go behind this one, like a figure eight, and you're not going to wrap this because we're going to need all the extra space. So then you're going to go behind. And since we did 3 up here, we're going to wrap this bottom one. It's going to be a 3 and 3 pattern. But see, I should have put a memory bend in this one. So you're going to come up behind this one once and then go around. And this is going to be a repeating pattern, so I'll try to make it clear. So we're going to grab this one too. That's the second one on that. And you're going to go around it and then grab it to tie it in. So you wrapped around this little bottom one twice, this one twice, and then you tied it in, and you're going to go up behind the whole thing. Slide it down. Okay, so now we're going to go around all 3 of these 3 times. And this will be a repetitive pattern, so it'll maybe be easier to understand after a few sets. So we're going to go around this 3 times, but we are going to leave just enough gap to get the wire through there. So that's 1, 2, keep it tucked down. And that's 3. And then you want to come in kind of just, we'll call it cinching it in there, tying it in so it holds those 3. So then you're going to come around the front and then underneath this one. And then since you're up on this side, you're going to go underneath this. But since we already did 3 here, this time we're going to work on the second row. So we're going to go between these 2. And we went around this once, so that's 1. And then we're going to go around it again, that makes 2. And then come up between, underneath the, we'll call it the bottom bar here. And we're going to tie that in with 1 wrap. Actually come up behind it like that, behind all 3. And they'll be like tying it in. So now if you look close, there's 3 up here, and then there's 3 ties on the bottom 2 here. So that's 1 set. And again, you can use these to flatten it out. Smush it down a little bit. So you're going to go around this again 3 times. And I use this pattern too so I can measure the distance, how far out I'm going to go. And we're going to do 4 or 5 of these. Okay, so that's 3 wraps again. And then we're going to tie it in, just cinch it in, going between those 2. And then we're going to come down behind and around this for 1. I'm going to keep these wires close, everything down. And then between the wires. And then again for the second one. And then you're going to go between them again. Now remember, we're just counting this as 1 bar. So just pretend that's just 1. And this is the bottom one. And then we're going to go through there, and then we're going to tie that in, just around the back. And then that's 1 set again. And then we're going to go around this again 3 times. Nice and close and snug. But enough to get that wire through there. And then tie it in. Push it down. And you'll see that we have 4 here. We're going to do 5. 5 little niches. And that's how far out our blade's going to be. So now again, you came up through, so you're going to go down and under this one. For 1. And then behind. and then down in front again, go around it. This will be the second time, and then tie it in and around the back. So that's 2 sets again, and then around this 3 times, and then tie it in, cinch it in, slide it down. So from the front, yeah, we're gonna have to do another one because it's just a little too small. So we're gonna go back here again. And since we're finished there on the 3, we're gonna go under this one for the first one. So that's 1. Push your wire down nice and tight and give it a little cinch. And then do the center. Since we already did 3 on top, we're gonna do 3 here. And then 1 more set. That makes 2. And then through the middle and around the back. Tie it in. Okay, so that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Focus. So let's see what it looks like from the front. Yeah, let's do 1 more. So come around the back. Wrap it 3 times. And then tie it in, cinch it up, nice and snug. And then down and around, grab this wire again. Once. Remember, you don't want to pull this out of shape. You want to just work with it. And cinch it in front. You're gonna go front behind it, and then through the middle. That's 1, and then again for 2. And then through the middle and around to the back. Alright. So we got 1, 2, we got 6 sets here. Okay, so we're up here now. We're going to do 3 times around this bar. I'm going to do like a little detail on the end here. So we're going to go do 3 times here. And then this little top bar. We're going to wrap this top bar 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Actually, that's pretty tight. Let's do 5. 3, 4, 5. Like that. And then we're going to wrap around all 3 again 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. And we're going to come up between, right underneath the bottom one there, and we're going to wrap these 2 bars here 3 times. 2. This will just add a little cool detail in there. 3. And then separate these a little bit, and then we're going to wrap this bottom wire like 5 times just to tie it off. So around this single one, and push it down as far as you can get it. And go around this one like 5 times. 5, 7 times, it doesn't matter, just a little detail. This one's going to curl up and around the back, so it'll look good if there's a little extra on there or not. I'll do 5 or 6. And then you can, like that. And you can just remove this tie. And then you can take your flat nose pliers and flatten these out. Should be get nice close sweet on those. So it looks like that. I'm going to turn it over. Let's see if I can zoom out a little bit. Okay. So this top wire, you're going to want to bend it up. Flip it over. You're just going to want to curl it around. So it's the tiniest, the little curl you can get on here. Like that. And then this one's going to swoop down and be parallel with this blue design like that. And then same ones on these ones, you're going to curl them up and come up behind. I'll keep it. Let me fix my camera. Okay. And the second one, you're just going to, like I said, come up behind it and curl it. Just hold it close there. Like that. And same with this one, you're just going to bring it up. And you're working in the back here. Just going to curl it up behind here. You can use your fingers to twirl it around. So these two are beside each other. That. So from the front, you see how you got this one sweeping down by the blue. That's going to be the guard there. And then this one, we're going to use these two. I want them laying next to each other. See if I can get my hand in here. So these two, we want to kind of bend them up. Just smash them out with your finger a little bit. Bring these two up parallel. I'm going to shape the blade, so we kind of want to start up kind of high, but not too high. Let's see if I can flatten them out with my... So I'm just trying to bring them up to start the top edge of the blade. And just trying to control the bend. Slowly shape the edge of the blade. You're going to want it to come down and meet with this one. Let's see if I can flatten this up out here. We want them close together. Get a good idea of how the blade's going to look. So just take your time to shape it. I don't want to stick it out too far. I'm just kind of meeting up with this other wire, because that's where the blade's going to point to, about the center of the handle. Depending on the size of the blade you want. So the top looks like that's kind of bent there. I mean, so you can shape this bottom one a little and come around a bit. I'm just working on the shape of the blade. You just kind of have to visualize where it's going to come together. This other one I did kind of close to it. But yeah, you just want like a... We're going to do a smaller one on this side, and this side's going to be a little bit bigger. But we want to just get a nice shape to it. I really want these two closer together up here. funny that way. Okay. So, I'm just working it down this way here. Getting it just the way we want. Nice curves on it. That's pretty nice looking. And those two, I don't really like it pushed out too far. I'd rather have a flatter blade. And then this too, I don't want that up so high. You just work it down a bit. And that one just lays with the blue there. Just kind of smush it around till you get it. But yeah, this one's going to lay next to the blue there. So this looks good. So now we're going to go back to the copper wire. I think I like this pretty good. I feel like I don't have a meeting point here. Kind of a... Is that what I wanted? See, this probably should be bent up here a little bit. Don't want any flat spots, that's for sure. Okay, so it's just shaping a little bit. So we're going to flip this over again. And this one that goes against the balloon, just sweep it up this way because we are going to go around it. But just to give you an idea. And then this inside one, we're not going to be wrapping that one. So just move that below the bar. But you still want to keep it where you still can see the shape of your blade here, where it's going to be. So that's what we're going to be working with. So you're going to grab your copper wire because this is going to be the blade. And we're going to grab this center wire here. Doesn't really matter, but this one's the one I grab. I'm going to wrap it 3 or 4 times. Oh, it's nice and snug. And then slide it up. If it wants to slide it up to the top there. And then nice shape on that blue one there. Okay, so I'm on the top side here on this bar, so on the bottom. So we are going to go around. So I'm going to point mine up just so I can catch them a little easier. I'm going to point this one out just so I can catch it a little better, and this one up. You can lift these up away from the handle if you need. It's easier for you to grab them. These 3 wires here, the ones we're working with. Just these 3 that are attached up here. So I'm up here. I'm going to go under this one. We're going to do like the figure 8. So we're just going to make a nice tight blade weave. And we're not going to wrap it. We're just going to go around it because we will run out of space. Since we only have this much room to play with and this much blade to cover, we're going to have to do 4 to 1 just so the ratio stays the same. So then we're going to go under these 2. And these are going to be separate. We're going to go between these ones now. So this will be the bottom one. So we're going to go around both of them 3 times and scooch them all the way up. There's 2 and 3. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to tie it in. So we're going to go between the 2. So you wrapped it 3 times and you're up in the middle. And since you're up here, you're going to go down and around this one once. And since we wrapped up 3, it's going to be 3 and 3 pattern, just like on here. It's going to be 3 up, and then 3 on the second one. So we're going to go in between the two, because we're going to wrap this once, nice and snug, but remember you want to keep your blade shape. Then we're going to wrap it around this one again, and that's 2, and each side just gets 2, so that's, and then we're going to tie it in. Keep your, it's really important to keep all your wires tucked up here as tight as you can get them. And you tied that one in, so then we're going to go around the back. Slide everything up as far as it'll go. And then we're going to go around 3 times. And then through the middle to tie it in. So I'm going to try to flatten this out so you can see it better. I don't even know if you can see that. And then we tied it in, so then we're going to go back under this top one. Push your weave all the way up. And sometimes you're going to have to hold it with your fingernail, because they're going to be packed in there good. So then we're going to go under between them. That's once. I'm going to go get it for twice. And then under it. Scoop those bars up. And then around both of them. And that's a set. And then we'll do it around 3 times. And in between them to tie it in. And then around once. And in between. And then twice. Pushing those wires up. In between. To tie it in and around the back. And then around. Check your blade size again. Make sure everything looks good. And then around these 3 times. And I like to put a memory bend in, that's why I always go all the way around it. And then tie it in. And then under this one once. Through the middle. Make sure this wire is nice and pushed up in there. And then around it for the second one. Push that wire all the way up in there. And then through the center and tie it in and around the back. And then again around it 3 times. Trying to keep your blade in the same shape. Try to peel this one out this way. Through the center to tie it in. You'll see we got a pattern going here. We flatten it out. It's a little harder to do on camera, that's for sure. Alright, so then back around once, through the center down here, around again for 2, down and around center, tie it in by going around the back, pushing it back, pushing these back. You really do, because it was when you're in the center here, you got to be in the center of your blade so it matches up. So you really want to keep these tucked up, so to keep them from being overlapped too bad. And then around these 3 times again. Nice and tight. And through the center to tie it in. You get a nice pattern going. And then around this one. Through the center. That's one, so do it one more time. Push it up there as far as you can. Through the center and tie it in. And then again around 3 times. Through the center. Tie it in. So smash. Around that one once. Push it all the way up in there. Through the center. That's 1. Do it twice. The reason you want to push them up there too, because it'll keep the length. And then through the center, around the back. And that's another one. So you can start seeing a pattern forming. And then 3 times. Now if you were doing a longer blade, you would do like 4 wraps and space it out. And come up to the center to tie it in. Just lock it in there. Then around the back of this one. That's 1. Tie through the center. Around for the second one. Push that wire all the way up there. Nothing too, because the pattern's going to stop right when we get, like we can't wrap past this little spot right here. So if you want to remember that, you can kind of put a bend right here, because that's where we want all the wires to stay up here. We don't want it to go past the handle there. So we want to make sure we have lots of room, and there is lots of room in there. We just got to keep moving it up. Okay. So we got to go through to the center to tie it in and around the back. And the first time I did this, I messed up the pattern so bad, but the more you do it, it does start to make sense. And I'll show you a trick on the end to really fatten up the blade, but I'll go around this 3 times. And then through the center to tie it in. Around this once. Keep your wires nice and tight. Through the center here. So that's 1. So you can't hold these back with your fingernails, what I like to do. And around the back. Push that up there, through the center down here, and tie it in, going around the back. Oops. I caught that other wire. What? 3. And then get the flatteners again, because you don't want your wires to bunch up. Put them side by side. And through the center to tie them in. Push them up in there. And round behind this one once. Through the center down here. And then around the back again. Push those wires up. Try to stay above the end there. Through the center to tie it in. And around the back. And then 3 times. Push it down. Up to the center to tie it in. I think we gotta get some more wraps in there. Because see, look at where we are on the blade. We've got to come down to here. So you just gotta smooth these up as much as you can. So do the back. Around once. It's twice. Is that twice? It's not very tight. There's once. That's twice, I think. And tie it in. And then 3 times. Push it down in there through the center to tie it in. So we're getting close now. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. So let's remove this tie on top. Alright, so we're just going to flatten these out. And then we're going to tie this off. I'm just going to wrap this outer one 3 times. Nice and snug. Oops. And then just pull the tie off there. Alright. So what we're looking at now is, see this little blue spot right here, this little gap? We're just going to, push that back till it reaches there a little bit. Just keep those up. Alright, so what we want to do is, you see this wire that comes out here that we got looped up here? We need to move that to the front. So I'm just going to kind of sweep it under here, just get it on the other side. No hard kinks in it. So now it's in front here. So you want to pull these wires back because you don't want these showing down here. So you're trying to kind of pull this bar forward, but I'm going to keep those other wires back there. So we're just putting like a little bend up on it. Like that. Just so it's like that, just so it's holding it up out of the way. Oops. Okay, so this one little swooping down wire that we have here, that guide melting, we are going to put that behind the blade. So, looks like that. And we're going to lock this in so our weave can't slide off of here. So we're just going to bring this up, this point up, right behind here. Again, you can flatten these out. And then we're gonna wrap those two so it holds them in there. And you want to hold this at an angle so it's kind of the shape of the blade. So it kind of goes along with it. So it's nice and tight right there. And then I grab my flat nose and just kind of push it even tighter on there. Just kind of, I'm not like twisting, I'm just kind of like pressing and rotating it. Just a nice little tight fit on there. And then you can flip it over here and grab your cutters. And we're going to cut it at an angle so it doesn't poke out the side. So you can just kind of lift up on it a little bit and then just kind of cut it so it doesn't go off the side there. You can just press it down a little bit. And from the front you can just kind of angle that with the blade a little better. And then, like, if this is for yourself, you could just snip these off. But I worry about this bar sliding off. So what I do is I go back here and I just fold these up and just tight, just so it really locks it in. And then I cut these off. Oops, I have to grab both of those. But that way it is not going to slide off. And then just tuck them back behind it. Just like that. And then this upright bar, this is kind of a cool little detail. So you got it like this, and it doesn't look, you know, it's kind of got a big old gap there. Oh, nobody likes that. So we're gonna twist this, and I'm just gonna twist it down here too, so it's a pattern twist this way, down here. Good tight twist. It's hard to do in the camera because it's like maybe like 10 inches between the camera and the table. I'm gonna go off camera and twist that up. I'll be right back. Okay, got it twisted up. Nice little bead design on there. So we want it to be right over the top of this design, like that. And then we're gonna put like a little half circle bend in it, like that. And then just with your fingers, just kind of push it down to right where that gap is. You know, just kind of snug it up, get a nice little contour shape to it. And then right up here, we're going to make it go this way, but we're going to gap it so a wire will fit right above it. So when you grab it to bend it, just grab about 2 wire fatness lengths below, like that. So we can squeeze another little wire up in there. So this will add like a cool detail to the blade. And then again, just push it to the blade. And then kind of just see where it's going before you make any permanent. We want it on this side of the gap. So just with your fingers, just force it where you want it to go, like that. And right up the edge of this blade, and then we're just going to bend it straight across to the back. Like that. Give it a nice little pinch. And then we're going to come down parallel with the copper. And you can put a nice little bend in that too if you want to copy the contour. And we're going to go right under Go right under it and come back up over the top. And again, you might want to put like a little half circle, little contour on it. And then right up here, you're going to grab it again. You're just going to grab it right above and bend that one sideways so it fits right in there. Like that one. And just give it a nice little press where you want it. And go along the back. And then what I do is I just, right after the copper, I cut it like just a little bit here. And then take my needle nose pliers and put just a little turn down on it. And then press that into the wire. That way you don't feel it when you touch it. And then you just take your flat nose, make sure you're on both sides, give a little press, lock it in there. And ta-da! We got half of it done. Oh my goodness. That's pretty cool. So it looks pretty clean. And then what's cool about these wires is there's so many wires here that if you take your thumb and you press these out and lay them side by side, it creates like a blade, like you can't see through it as much. Creates like a flatter blade appearance. But you can pull in. I'm going to mess with that later. Better keep moving here. Okay, so back to the colored wire. We're going to do the other side now. We got half the axe. Then too, you're going to want to pay a little more attention to these, detail them up. I'm going to probably do that off camera just to save time. But okay, we're going to start back here again. And this longer wire has got to be on the top because that's the part that, you know, we use to wrap around all this, so we can't have it on the bottom. So we're just going to have to force it into its spot here. But I don't know how it ended up so low. That's okay. Just make it go up there. You won't be able to see that anyways. Alright, so we got the blue. So let's start down here and wrap this bottom one 3 times. Slide it up nice and tight. See, this is what I like is that, you know, if you just saw it up the back, it just makes the back look nice too. These little details. Alright, where am I here? Just tuck over here. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. And you see how we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I think that's the end detail. We're going to do 7 on this side. That'll make the blade just a little bit bigger. And then we don't really have to pay attention to how far out we're going. We just want to make sure that we have a nice shape to our blade. Not too high up here. I think we want to match. Bring these down a little bit. And then we're going to get a nice curve. Now this one I noticed that you want it pointing to about the bottom third of the handle. That way it'll be a little bit bigger. And then the other side, kind of give it a cool detail. And round it out. Something like that. I mean, it won't, you know, it'll end right here, but it'll just be just a little bit longer than this side, just a little bit. And this pretty much, so we want the same style. I'm not liking that bump, but we'll hide that with a wrap there. Okay, so remember we're going to pretend that these two are one solid wire. So back to the back. So we don't really have a whole lot to black out this side, so we're just going to, so I'm on top here, so I'm going to go between those two, So since we started there, we're gonna go around this one. So this would be 2. Around all of them to tie it in. I'm going to go around this 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and tie it in. And then if you want to try to flatten them out, get them lined up. We only want just a wire length apart up on these top ones, you know, just enough to get the wire in there. And then you're going to go figure 8 around that bottom one, up between the middle, because we're doing we've done one now, we need to do, right, we've done one. Is that 1 or 2? I think that's 1, so then we go one more. Did I just, yeah. So around the back, through the center, push them down, and then tie it in around the back. Keep finagling these wires together. We don't want that big a gap. Alright, so then around 3 times. Straight. And through the center to tie it in. Around the back once. Through the center. Nice and snug. Around the back for 2. Through the center. Tie it in by going around the back. Lock it in. And then 3 times. 2, that's 3, and then tie it in. And then again 2 sets. 1 through the center. Around the back. Lock it in. And then 3 times again. I don't know if I should do all the sets or just meet you back here after. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to do 7 of these, and I'll meet you back here after 7. And just remember to keep 3 on top, 2 sets on the bottom, 3 sets on top. Okay, so you got 7 on this side and 8 on this side, or whatever you did on this side, you do 1 more pattern on this side of it. And then we're going to finish it by wrapping this 3 times, and then kind of like we did on the other side, we're going to wrap this top bar. I think we did it, what, 5 times last time? 1, 2, 3, 4. Smush it down there, and then around all 3 times. And then these bottom 2, I think we did 3 times. Just look at the other side. I think that's what we did. And yeah, 3 times on this one. Oops, put the wrong one there. Is that 3? And then we wrap this bottom one, I think, several times. I think I did 7 times. And then you're going to want to take your nylon pliers and smash that all down. Smush it together. I'll put a nice little kink in there. Alright, so now it matches this side. And then remember last time we just took this one up and we're going to curl it around to the back. Use your finger, make a nice little tight. And you can kind of bend this whole thing up too if you need more space. Remember, this is the one that curls down by the blue. Oops, a little kink in there. One of the more rounded. That gives us more room to tie on those. So something like that. Oh, and we can remove this. This is just getting in the way. So remove your colored wire. And then do this second wire here. Just come up and around. Swoop it around. Like that. Same with this one. You're going to come up and around. Parallel with the other one. Kind of bring them together. Just keep pull them around. They go where they're supposed to. Get them side by side there, and then lift up on them. So that's going to be the start of the blade. So this is the front. Okay. And again, if you want your blade a little shorter, you could turn this whole thing up a little bit. Get a little height on it there. I'm just talking about this part here. Move it around. And then we're going to start shaping the blade. This one should be. Just going to try to get them next to each other like that. And then if you hold your fingers together, you can press them together. And then just going to start shaping the size of the blade on this side. Get a nice sweep and bend to it. That's too crazy. Let's start up there a little bit. So we're going to kind of meet up with this other one we got down here. See, that's just wonky. You just got to work it till it looks better. Sometimes you just bring that down. See how it kind of points down to the bottom here. It's a little bit bigger than the other side, but we want one side a little stronger than the other. That looks pretty good. Just gonna push this around till you like where it's at. I think we like that, yeah. Looks pretty good. Alright, so now we're going to go back to the copper. Make sure you got enough copper on there for this piece. Thinking that looks pretty good. Alright, so we're going to start with this middle one again. Now remember, this one we're just going to grab it, but if you want to remember, you don't want to, we're not going to wrap past that point again, so you're just going to kind of give a little memory bend there. So we'll be working off that wire. And then this sweeping one, you can put it under the bar, just so you don't grab it. And then we'll be working with these three. So grab this middle one here, and wrap it a couple times. Slide it down to the top there. So I'm going to go around under this one. And since I started on that bottom, the middle, I guess we'll call this the middle bar, this top and bottom. Since I started there, I'm going to go ahead and wrap that one more time. And then go again under this one. You could do a couple figure eights just to close in the gap. It's not like we need to start the pattern until we get to out here where the daylight is. Just make it a nice solid blade. I'm just gonna grab that. Oops. Again, you can lift these up a little bit and bend these blades out. Easier to grab just a little bit. It's kind of hard to see, but so I'm up there around the bottom. Just figure eights again till I get a little farther out here. Just trying to fill it in. Around the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap these top two 3 times. And then I'm going to tie it in, wrap that one, and then around the bottom ones. And then wrap the bottom one for the second time. And then around the middle to tie it in. And then over the top. And then wrap the top 3 times, the top 2. And then around the center one to tie it in. And then around the, remember this is when you start pushing these wires up in here. Because we have a longer blade, so when we get to center here, we need to be centered on this blade out here. So around the bottom once. Grab the middle, around the bottom one for the second time. And then the middle to tie it. And then over 2. Grab those 2 3 times. Push them all in there nice and snug. And then wrap that middle one to tie it in. Make sure your weave's nice and flat. Then grab the bottom one once. Center one. And we're doing the figure eight this whole time too. Around the bottom one for the second time. Grab the center, tie it in, and over the top 3 times. And you can grab your flat nose and keep these flat too so you can see better. And slide it all down. Keep these down here. 3 times. 1, 3, and then around the center to tie it in. Push them back. Grab this bottom one for 1. Grab this middle one around the bottom for 2. Middle one to tie it in. And over the top. So, I don't know if I should keep filming this whole thing, but I'll meet you down here. 3 over the top, tie it in, 2 on the bottom, tie it in. Keep doing that. 3 over the top, tie it in. Make sure you keep your blades and everything in the shape you want. And just, if you pull it tight, hold the wire that you're pulling, not the whole thing. Around the bottom once. Grab the center, then on the bottom twice. Do the center, tie it in, and over the top. And then flatten it every 4 or 5 sets. Keep them snug, and then hold your line back as you go down. Just hold it back so they're side by side, not overlapping. And I'll meet you back like right about here. So, alright, once you get down here, you're gonna want to take your flat nose your nylon pliers, and just flatten these out a bit. Make it nice, pretty. Make sure everything's pushed up tight. Put your final wraps on here. Make sure that everything is still up here by this. So they meet together there. You don't want to go below that. So I think I'm going to put one more wrap on this. Maybe 2, one more set. And then tie it in. And then round all 3. I'm going to flip it over here to see the front. And I'm going to tie this bottom bar. Remember, we can move this one to the back now and behind those two bars there. I know it's hard to see, but I'm just going to wrap this bottom one like 3 or 4 times. And you can take that tie off of there. And I took that one tie off up there as well. Okay, so we're going to kind of close that gap a little by pushing the blade down closer to it. And remember, we got to bring this one down in front. So we're just going to lift these a little up out of the way. I'm just going to hold this here just so they don't slide. And I'm going to slide this one to the front. In front right there. And remember last time you push this together and then pull your little wires back behind it and bend it up for now. You can fold it right over. And then on these ones down here, this swoopy one right here is going to be behind these two. So you bring that down in front. Kind of smush your blade around the way you want it. So this one's pointing to like the bottom third of the handle. If you like the shape, you can kind of do some minor squishes. I think I like that right there. So then you just take this wire up, put a nice bend on it so it goes through the center here, down and around. Gonna wrap those. Kind of stay close to your bar here so it's going up and down, kind of matches it. And just kind of crank it tight right there. Nice tight, and then you can use these to just kind of snug it up. I'm not twisting, I'm kind of like lifting and pinching just to get a nice tight fit. It is kind of twisting it a little bit, but you can just kind of correct that as you go. And then make it nice and tight in the back. Grab your cutters. Just lift up on it enough to get your cutters under there. And snip it off in about the center. It's still covering the blade, it's just not sticking outside. And then you can press that down. You don't want it sticking out the side, you don't want to feel it there. See, that looks pretty good. And then like this one, you can finish this any way you like, but I'm going to bend mine back just so I know that that won't slip off of there. I'll just run that parallel, run this one back. I cleaned this one up a little too, but you're going to want to take your time to clean those up a bit. Kind of just mash them down. I'm going to trim them short, like so. And then tighten. And just clamp those down a little bit, clean it up. And then parallel with the blade, so you don't see them from the front. And you can do some detailing on that off camera. Now this one, remember, we're gonna place it right in front of that, but we're gonna twist it up again. And it's just hard to do with the amount of distance I gotta work with here. Let's see if I can get it to work any better. I'm trying to keep it straight so I don't pull it out of shape. Try to match the other one. It's looking pretty good. Right, so when you're looking at it, you want it to be right over the top of that gap. And you want to put a fancy little half bend in it. A little fancier than that. I want to chase that line right there. And then with your finger, just push it down so you know where it's going to go. I want to hide it right there. And then remember, we're going to bend it, but we want to leave enough room for another wire to fit right above it. So we're just going to grab it like 2 wire lengths down, like that. Press it with your fingers so you get a nice fit, and then just chase that around to the back, straight across. Feels like this is moving around here. So just bend it across there. That looks good. I'm just going to give it a little press just to hold it there. Gently. See, it slipped up. Kind of kicked it up there. I didn't really want to do that. Oh, it moved in. Okay, so then grab your pliers. Are going to come right just inside the copper here. Just below it. And give it a nice little shape to it. Move it around. You want to come down right on the inside here. Move this back. And then around the front. This wire is a little shorter. And then give it a nice little half bend to chase it. Could have just enough wire. And then we're going to bend it right here. So it goes around the back. Press it down with your fingers so it's where you want it to stay. And straight back. I barely have to trim that. Just going to kick off a little bit there. Grab my needle nose. Actually, I trimmed that a little too long. Go a little shorter. And just give it a bend down on there. So there's no pokies. Press it down. And then placing the flat nose on top of both sides, give it a little press. That's where you like it. Press it around with your fingers first before you use the hard tools. So that is the axe part. And then you can kind of shape these a little bit. Move stuff around. You can shape these blades. Get a little detail. If you press the wires together, they'll look solid at certain angles. Kind of cool looking. Kind of move them around where you like them. Okay, now we're going to create the strap for the back. The back's looking pretty good too. So you're going to take your 2 9-inch ones. And we're going to use the copper wires. You're going to want to have quite a bit on there. So we got 2 9-inch pieces. We're going to create a pattern. And you're going to start 1 inch in on this one side. About 1 inch in. We're going to wrap this bottom one 3 times. And you can do any pattern you want on these two. So I'll show you which one I'm going to do. So I'm going to wrap both of them 3 times, keeping a gap between, enough for the wire anyways. And then I'm going to grab the top one 3 times. And then I'm going to grab both of them 3 times. And then bottom one 3 times. And I'm going to keep doing that. So then you'd grab both of them again. And then if you grabbed the bottom one last time, you'd grab the top one 3 times. And to wrap this whole thing, I timed it. It took me about 20 minutes. I'm not going to film this whole thing, but this is the pattern you want to do. So I'll show you. Let me pinch it together. Or like I said, you could do any pattern you want. But it's 3 on the bottom, then wrap 3 times, then 3 on the top, then 3 together, 3 on the bottom, 3 together, 3 on the top. And we're going to do 7 inches of that, so you can stop about an inch from the end, and I'll meet you back after we got the full pattern. Or I'll probably stop halfway and show you what it's like, but I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Okay, I'm just checking back in. I'm about halfway through. Hope you can see the pattern. It's looking good. You just want to take your nylon pliers and smash it down every once in a while. Keep it nice and flat, snugged up. But it's almost done. Alright, I only got a few inches to go and I'll be back. Okay, so I finished the whole weave about an inch from either end. You can go ahead and remove the ties off the back. And then about center, I'm gonna put like a soft bend in it. Just straight. And we're gonna go behind the sword here, behind the axe I should say. And I'm just gonna kind of come up around both sides of the gem here. And just kind of tuck it up on the side. I'm going to do that on the other side here too. And keep it close to the guard here. Move this one out back, out of the way. So you have something like that. Just take your time and shape it. Kind of like the flat, where it's flat, where it's not, you know, where it's all showing all the patterns, kind of nice looking. So you got a good shadow on it there. I'm going to go along the back here. And you're going to come down across and come over here to this side. Straighten that up. So you still got it, looks good there. Kind of want to fix, I'd like this to be fatter, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm still just shaping it around here, so I got a nice little close to the gem. And come around the back here. And I'm going to just kind of help twist this a little. So it comes down like right there. And then the same with this one. We wanted to come down over here. I'm just going to kind of help lay it flat down. Try not to guard the wire when I do that. Just trying to keep a low profile on it. So I'll start with this side. We're just going to go under the blade. I'm just going to kind of give it a little twist just to help which way I want it to go. I want it to go in a half circle again. So I'm just going to use my finger to push it around. Come alongside it there. push it down with your fingers as much as you can. So it's kind of alongside like that. Let's do that with this one. Just going to kind of give this a little twist. It's pretty stiff. Go around the blade. Back to the front. And again, we're just going to try to shape it along this one. You can use your fingers to kind of get a half circle on it. Push it away from the other one just a little so they both show. Now the back is tricky because it depends on how you want it to be, but I think I'm just gonna twist this, flatten it out a bit. Like that. And this one, I think I'm gonna give it a nice little bend to get it going where I want it to. Try not to gar those wires because they will break them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them out here and then put a bend down on them and then push them back into the back of the axe. But it's kind of tricky because we're cutting into the pattern here, so I'm just going to want to pull the pattern off. But so I'm just going to cut it right. I'm going to try to dip it into that little loop down there. So I'm going to cut that one there like that. And this one about the same. I'm hoping I'm getting it spot on because I don't want to recut it. So I'm going to put a little bend down on them and tuck them into that. See if I can use. See, you can lift them up a bit because I think it's going to go in there once I press it down. The same with this one. And these wires are stiff. So I'm just trying to push those down in there. And then from the front, you're going to want to, the nylon pliers would be better because those really will break wires, those flat nails. So you're just going to have to gently just push these around. Ooh. And just press them into place without distorting everything. And then these you can just micro push them. You just kind of have to smush them around where you like them. I think I'm going to bend this one a little more. Gently. Scary because you can easily smash those. And just try to work it around. I think I'm gonna pull. I think I'm gonna tighten this one up a little. And over the top. Sometimes you gotta take it apart and reposition it. So I'm gonna detail that up. I'm gonna detail that up and tie it in the back better and come right back. Okay, so I snagged up the front a lot better, and then on the back I did something a little different. I was gonna, the other side I did already, so I cut this a little shorter. And then while it's cut, you can turn down the little tip here and then push it into the back. And then take your flat nose, and then it's easier to grab. And push that down into the back center there. You seem to grab it pretty good. Easier to do it a snug. Right. So that's wrapped. So I'm going to oxidize it and show you what it looks like. But it looks pretty cool now for the axe. I think it'll look really cool once I oxidize it. So I'm going to oxidize it and I'll be right back. Alright, it's all oxidized. It looks so cool. It turned out pretty good. And it's just popping with the blue and the oxidization. And the one I was showing you guys at the beginning where everybody wanted to do the tutorial, this one had the blue stitching up the side too, but when I polished it, I sanded some of the color off so it kind of looked more battle worn, you know? Kind of gave it a little fatter look too, but it started off the same way. And then I sanded the color off up here a little bit, kind of made it look battle worn. But it looks good just straight, clean blue color too. But it will look good over time. It'll just look like it's, you know, it's been through it a little bit. But I wanted to show you some others. I tried some different styles and stuff. But you can kind of really go nuts with these ideas. You can do longer blades, and I did a gold one that turned out really pretty. These will be in my shop too. They'll be for sale if you guys want to check it out. It's at Jay's Gems. I will put a link. Unfortunately, it's not a clickable link yet, but I'll put the website address down there if you want to check it out. And I have a couple others on there too. I have this purple one that turned out really pretty. It's got the blue in it. Pretty sharp looking. This one looks like a little short axe. A little bit shorter handle. But it turned out pretty poppin'. But yeah, this is it, guys. Finally did the tutorial. Thanks for all the input and all the comments and stuff. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Till next time, have a beautiful evening.